Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, JJMC Hammer, the COO of Blackout Media, here with the CEO, Be Original Designs, back for another crash course episode, continuation of last time's part one of being a freelance artist. Today, we're going to talk more about how to be a actual freelance artist and start selling your work and working with customers and how we did it and our experiences. We hinted at it a little bit at last time and how to actually, what you need to do before you do it. This is just going to be how to do it. You really want to start out doing this with very low expectations. Because when you first start out, it's going to be hell when you start trying to sell your work. Because first of all, you're going to get this. You're going to get, your work's not worth that much. You're going to get, I can get the same thing for free. You're a shitty designer, you can't charge. You're gonna get so much criticism, so much hate, so much of a lot of things, because a lot of times you can get it for free, almost at a similar quality of yours, but not as good. Like if you're gonna be doing freelance and actually selling your work, you're gonna be a lot better than people that are doing it for free. Just telling you. But people think, the average people, that it's the same thing. Because average people, they don't understand how much work goes into it. They don't understand technique. They don't understand anything about it. So they just think that it's the same. So you're going to have to push that off and keep going forward. Keep sticking with your prices. Never lower your prices unless it's like a sale or you're doing a discount or something like that, a special thing. Don't lower your prices unless there's a market change, where nobody is buying from you ever. People will buy from you. Don't worry. If you're charging $20, people will buy from you if you're good enough. I mean, if you're charging $20, you should be good enough. So if you're charging $20, you're going to get the $20 eventually from some people. It might not be all the time. It might be very rarely, but you will get the payment. If you're getting payments at least once a month, you should just stick with those prices. Don't change them. They're working just fine. It just takes a little while for your name to get out there. B could talk very well about this. So you can talk about more about pricing and all that stuff.
All right. So guys, do remember when you go and price something, really the first thing to take into consideration is what market you're in. And of course, who your clients are going to be. And last but not least, how you compare to the others out there. And the way it's really going to go as a freelance artist is you want to be the one that is the first choice. And to be that first choice, usually what you're going to need to do is you need to be hundreds of steps ahead of your competition, or you need to be cheaper than your competition if they are the same level as you. And one thing I always see when designers are, trying to sell their services, there's two types of design out there. There is kinetic design and there's intellectual design. Kinetic design is basically where you move things around on the page or just scroll through your fonts and say, oh, this looks good, and you just place it there. Kinetic design is not the way to go. If you're still on that step, you're probably not ready yet, and the guys that are doing intellectual design are going to take your clients, and they're going to do a much better job. The reason this is because someone who knows how to do intellectual design will not, play Photoshop like it's a video game. They will sit there and they will say, I picked this, I'll pick this font because it looks like this, or I picked this color correction method because it does this, or I picked this size or this layout because it conveys this or reads as this. They have a reason for everything they do, and part of this is because of their background. They will know how color works, they will know how typography works, and overall they will know how to impress their client and their audience. They're going to take your job every time. So if you do not know intellectual design yet, what I would really, really suggest is that you start to Google things like color and typography and, layout design. InDesign's a really good program to learn if you're not familiar with doing layout design, but I do heavily recommend getting into that program. You'll learn so many things, and when you get from kinetic to intellectual, you're going to be able to charge literally whatever you want. And if your quality and your competition is not as good as you will get that job every single time, guaranteed. I've seen designers that will make over 40,000 a month just doing, like small brochures. It's really, really easy. All you have to do is, you have to move on from treating Photoshop like, hey, this is fun, or, this just looks good to me. You need to have, reasoning, and you need to have actual skill behind what you do.
Yeah. I mean, definitely a good point. Going back to what you said about the fact that you need to be able to have this intellectual design, because at the end of the day, you might think that, oh, I can do this. Like, really good example. I see some, like, brochures, like he just said, or magazine covers and stuff like that. I'm like, I could easily do that. But it's not about, oh, I can do it. It's, oh, I can create something myself from scratch like this person did. Like, I see it and I go, oh, I can do that technically, but the creative process is really what people are paying for. If I can just I can copy anything. Anyone can copy anything. Like, that's not hard. But to make it yourself and make it your own in your own way is really what people are going to be paying for. You're not going to be able to get customers in and out if you can just make one thing or copy somebody else's work. You're really going to need to be able to make your own stuff and do it the right way and do it in your own style. Like, one day you're going to want to make your own style, your own, effect or something like that, so you have your own unique thing that nobody else could do to charge even more, or to put yourself ahead of the your other designers. For a long time, I was doing kinetic design, where I would just fuck around in Photoshop until I got something that looked good. I do that sometimes today, but that's if I'm experimenting with a new effect. I'll fuck around with it, tweak it a bit, but it's not like I don't know what I'm doing and I'm just clicking buttons. Like, you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're doing and why you're doing it, but experimenting is not a bad thing. There's a difference between kinetic design and just moving things around until it works, clicking buttons, and experimentation. Experimenting means you know what this does, you know what it is, but maybe if I tweak it this way or this way, it might look a little different or look a little better. That's different. Experimenting is completely different from kinetic. Don't get it confused. Don't think, oh, but I experiment a lot. Does that mean I'm a kinetic designer? No, you could be, but if you can create that effect again, if you can do that over again, or you can create something similar, or you can go off that design and do something else, you're probably an intellectual designer. Now with competitors, you really want to focus on this. What is their customer feedback? Are those customers using their designs? Are they good enough? Do you like them? Like, because if you look at your competitor and you like their art and you think it's worth the price they're paying for it, it's probably because they're doing better than you. Because they're charging more, they're doing better, and they're better designers. If you like their work and you think what they're charging is fine, they're most likely a better artist than you. If you don't, on the other hand, you need to step up your game. The only reason why they're out there is because they did this step. Promote yourself. That is a huge aspect. Do some favors, work with bigger YouTubers. I did that and I got my name out there pretty well. Like, I would work with YouTubers, maybe make something for free, like a fan art, and then I get featured, and then holy shit, now I have customers because they come to me saying, oh my god, I saw your work on this guy's channel, I saw your work on this guy's website, and I really liked it, and he said you made it, can you make something for me? Like, how much you charge? I'll pay anything. Right? That's happened to me before. Because I just made someone that was famous or more famous than me something for free, and they featured me, or they shouted me out, and I got some popularity from that. Never turn down an opportunity to promote yourself, but at the same time, don't promote yourself. Be modest. Like, don't be like, oh, I'm the best designer around, I'm the best, I'm godly, I'm awesome. Take it down a notch. Give people an expectation that's realistic. Say, like, I'm a self-taught designer. I've been doing this for a long time. My work is very high quality. Be modest with it. Don't be overzealous, because if you do that, people will have high expectations. And if you fuck up, you really royally fucked up, because they will say something shitty about you, and you just lost potential customers, or even that customer, because at the end of the day, they're not paying you everything up front, right? And this is going to segue into the next thing, which is how to actually deal with these payments and how to deal with customers. So first of all, you don't want to make everyone charge you after you do it. So don't just do this. Don't just say, okay, so when I'm done, pay me the $20. Don't do that. Because if you do that, there's this that can happen. Oh, hi, B, I just made this for you. Where's my $20? You go, I don't like it. I don't want it. I'm not paying you $20. You just did work for free and didn't get paid, and the person didn't even use it, so you just wasted your time. That happened to me 3 times before, and I mean, it wasn't large sums of money, but it still pissed me the fuck off because I was doing it the wrong way. That was my fault. I should have asked for this. A down payment, half the price or 25% or whatever you decided you wanted before you start. Then when you start and you finish, you give it to them and you go, here you go, and they give you the rest. They could choose not to, but they already paid you for the work half. The other half is really for the product itself, for the actual design, or whatever it is, the art. Then, working with customers, you really have to be keep a lot of communication with your customer. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to take what you told me, do what I think you mean, and then at the end give you the final piece, and that's it. Don't do that, because if you do that, if they don't like it, they don't have to accept it. You have to think about that. They can say that I don't want this, and they're not paying you the rest of the money. You really have to keep with them and showing them screenshots, showing them step after step after step after step. Is this good? Is this good? Is this good? Really want to make sure that they're happy with every little thing you do. So at the end, because sometimes this happened to me before, you get to the end and you have to restart because they didn't like it, because you weren't being like too upfront with them and being like, is this okay? Is this okay? Is this okay? You really got to make sure your customer likes what you're doing, because at the end of the day, you don't want to waste your own time. Now, customers can go one of 2 ways. It can go, they're moderately fine, they're not naggy, they're not, they're not impatient, and they respect that you're a designer, they respect what you do, and they let you do your job. Then there's the other customer, which is a piece of garbage and gives you the hardest time in your entire life, and you want to kill them, but you can't because it's against the law. That's the other one. And I'm going to teach you how to deal with these people. At the end of the day, you're just trying to make money. I mean, you can get practice out of it, but at the end of the day, you're really trying to get money. This might be your livelihood. This might be what you do to make a living, You really want to make money. So what you do is, you do exactly what they say, and don't give them keep your conversation to a minimum. Say, oh, do you like this? They say no. You say, why? What do I change? Keep it short, very short sentences. Do not over-explain. Don't over-explain. Under-explain things. Just say 1-word answers, 2-word answers. Just try to get it so every interaction is short. Because at the end of the day, if you get annoyed with your customer, you're gonna purposely, subconsciously make their design or make their art worse. And if you do that, that's a bad rep on you, because the dumb rule, the customer is always right, is still applicable in this case. If they don't like it, they don't have to like it. If they think it's shitty, it's shitty, you're really gonna have to work with these rough customers in a very, professional way. Don't be buddy-buddy, don't, try to be nice, just be professional. Just be like, okay, so this is what you need, here's what you need. You don't like it, I'll do it again. There you go, whatever. It might be a hard time, you might hate it, you might want to kill them, but just at the end of the day, just get your money and get out. But after you do that, make it, save their name somewhere in a list. I have a list of people that I will never accept work from again. There's a list of blacklisted people from my customer list. They cannot be a returning customer. You have to keep a list of those people, because if they come back asking for more stuff, you're going to have the exact same story. I know B has had this. I've had this. I know millions of other designers had this. This is just something that will always happen to you. It'll happen all the time. So you got to keep a record of it. Make sure it doesn't happen again. And you want every time, improve yourself. Maybe you can turn them around. Maybe you can make them not be a little bitch. But at the end of the day, it's going to happen. I think that really concludes it for this part. I really said everything I need to say. B, you want anything else about, being, actually charging people and working with customers?
I mean, working with clients, and this is something I've learned over several years, and it can be very, very hard. I mean, the first client I ever had was, of course, very, very small. They kind of let me do my thing because they know, hey, you're a professional, you're going to do a good job, run with it and let me see what you got. And, over the time, working with clients, I've met several. Of course, there's the client, as you said, that will just ride your ass for the entire time. And, they're not going to give you a fucking break. Now, sometimes this is good, sometimes this is bad. Now, if they're an asshole about it, it's pretty bad. And of course, I too have my blacklist of clients that I just won't deal with anymore. Like, I'm done. And then there's the client, that you update them, every day or every week if it's a long project. And, you just kind of show them, hey, this is what I got going. What do you think? Is this acceptable for you? Is this not acceptable for you? Uh, it's really one of those things where you have to learn what your clients are like, and you can often figure this out when you first meet them. The client's personality, if you are really good at reading people, you can figure out pretty quick, is this guy going to be an ass, or am I going to have an easy time with this? And of course, now one thing to keep in mind is, if you're starting out, the best way to start as a designer, I would say, is to of course have contracts. I of course, every single time I have a client, there is a contract I have them sign. It's about 2 or 3 pages, and it's very, very specific of how I will be paid, when I will be paid, and what constitutes refunds, redos, edits, etc. I have all of that lined out so that there is no question. And if they didn't read it, it's on them, because I protected my ass. Now, if you work with a big brand, like I've worked with a couple really, really huge brands or huge channels, they sometimes have contracts just for their branding, where you can only have it on like one computer, or you must use these exact colors, or you must, follow these guidelines, etc. I've had to sign almost 6-page contracts of how to use their brand. It's very, very important that you guys read these contracts, protect yourselves, and of course make your own and protect yourselves. Very, very important.
Yeah, definitely. So just to overview, being a freelance artist. So first, you're going to want to make sure you're good enough. Train all the time. And if, like B said, if you can be an intellectual designer, that's when you can start starting. If you're still just moving stuff around and making things like look okay to you, that's not okay. You can't do that, right? Second, you're going to want to charge what you think you deserve and stick with it. Don't just change your prices all willy-nilly all the time because you think no one's going to buy it from you. People will buy from you. Don't worry. If you started, charging, you're going to get the money you charge because if you follow this, obviously. 3, working with shitty customers sucks, I know. Just be as professional as possible. Like B said, protect your ass, get a contract. He's made a very good point. You're going to really want to read those contracts, make your own, protect your ass, make no questions asked. Make it very clear to your customers so you don't really have those shitty times. And lastly, at the end of the day, you're going to be in it to making money, right? It's not a hobby anymore, right? Because you're trying to earn money. You're a freelancer now. You're trying to make a living. You're going to want to push yourself. Get as many jobs as possible. Go in, find jobs, dig. It's not easy to find jobs. People might come to you, but that's not all the time. If you're trying to, I know B will, get people coming to him, but sometimes he has to go out and look for it. It's not like, all willy-nilly, he just gets people running at him, trying to get designs done all the time. That just doesn't happen. It's it's a really grind. It's a grind. And you have to be aware of that before you get into it. It's really not all easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's really fucking hard. You really have to work for it. And, I guess that concludes, this part, and this episode of Crash Course. I hope you enjoyed. It's been J. Jim's Hammer and B Real Designs. As always, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.